Thank you. So dynamic documentation in 5 minutes, trying to make documentation dynamic and a little bit more fun. So I am Daniel and I am from LinkedIn. So the problem that we're having is sort of like my problem. I am lazy. So things are hard. I can only do one thing at a time. And I really like to copy and paste things. If I have to type it out, I get sad. I would have thought I'd be a better typist by now, but here we are. The other thing is I forget things. There's too much things to know, and I can only keep so many in my head at once. So that is compounded with I look after a lot of different things, and I can only do one thing at a time. The things that I look after generally are rather complex. And if it was just a lot of things in complexity, that would be okay, but a lot of the times they're not the same either. So it's a lot of people to tell that I'm lazy and forget things, but anyway. So the other thing is I run a project that gets everyone to make changes to their system, upgrading things, changing latency, fixing latency, fixing monitoring, all that sort of stuff. And I want to make it very easy for people to fix problems. The smaller, more defined problem will get fixed over the larger, undefined one. So documentation is the answer. I want to have written down a solution for every change that I do, for every service that I have, but that would be too many pages, 50,000 pages, can't do that. So now what you're thinking, use that shell style, dollar variable name, then people can substitute it. Or maybe it's shift style, or test style, or the double curly brace, or mustache style, or any other style that you have to updating these wiki pages. Basically, there's too many of them, and I can't copy and paste them. That's not true. I could do something like this, but that only works for things that I can source on the host itself. So we settled on the mustache style. It's fun to say, and it has some other advantages. So having a look at a page, this might seem familiar to you, a little bit of information how to fix a service. And you might notice that we're using that mustache style on that service name there. So it's not too bad, but wouldn't it be nice if we had a templating engine so I could turn something like service name into the actual service name? So then it would look like this, which is way nicer to look at and a lot easier to read and copy and pastable. So enter Angular.js. So our wiki was missing this feature, has it now. So we go ahead and use query strings, pick that off of the wiki page, but you can't just add a script tag into Confluence. But they do have a HTML tag that you can use. So thanks HTML tag for letting me do a little bit of cross-site scripting and injection. So back to the service page here. So this is all you need to do. That's not true, there's a little bit of other stuff. So basically you pick up everything from the URL bar, rip out the service name and set that to the scope. And now service will get turned into whatever your service is. But we're not stopping there. We've got a lot of information behind a lot of APIs, so wouldn't it be useful if we could have access to that? So let's go ahead and fetch it. So based on the service name, we'll fetch that, grab a bunch of context, update the scope, and now the group becomes the actual group. Or the current on call becomes the current on call. Or who owns the service becomes dynamic. How many hosts they have, what versions they have. Everything that we fix now becomes available in the wiki. So this becomes really easy at 3 o'clock in the morning. We can do more than that. We can show and hide data based on the context that we have. If it's a Java service, hey, watch out for GC, otherwise don't worry about it. We can prompt you for more information. We can use that same system to inject a little bit of an input tag and ask you for some more information. That takes advantage of the two-way binding, so that happens very quickly, instantly. We can use loops, looping over host names to make documentation more pretty. Pretty documentation is red. The other thing we can do is figure out commands. This is an example only, but a little bit of an exercise in what we could do is we could prompt you for putting in fdisk information, and then I could tell you what the command is to fix the problem or to expand a file system. So a bunch of code there. I threw it up on a quick GitHub and GitLab repository, so you can grab that and have a look. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of the things that you can do, only scratching the surface. But the more fun you make documentation, the more people will write it, and then the more people will read it.